welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing very well today. So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie Jade. I post over here at least 3 times a week, and we do have a vlogging channel and a TikTok that I upload on daily too, so please do check those out. But in today's video, we're going to be doing review 2 of the Game of Thrones X Revolution collection. So we're going to be testing out their big palette today, which is the matte palette. I'm really excited for this video. I wanted to do kind of like an autumnal, warm kind of eye look, so that's what we're kind of going for today. So I've done the rest of my makeup already, and we're just going to be doing my eyes in this video. Really hope you enjoyed this. If you do, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button for me. Leave me a lovely little comment in that comment section down below, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And let's get straight on with today's video. So I've just zoomed you guys in so you've got a little bit of a better view. I'm going to start off by priming my eyes. I'm using a Beauty Bay eye primer. I honestly use this all the time, but right now it's gotten down to like the very last bits inside, so it's definitely running out. I do need to buy a new one. I think I got this in the shade 2. So the only reason I haven't bought a new one is I can't remember the shade I bought it in, because I've used it that much it's literally just rubbed off the packaging. So I think it was shade 2. I think it's either that or like shade 1, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just applying this to my lid, and then I'm just going to use a flat brush to start to pack it out and just blend it out where I want it to be. I used to always like properly blend using like a sponge when it came to my eye primer, but then I realised that that just kind of soaks up half the product and doesn't really spread it around and give a good even coverage and just perform anywhere near as well as when I just kind of like pat it in and just pat over the product. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just going to blend this in. I do love the P. Louise one, but just since I've used this Beauty Bay one, I love the wand for the kind of like ease of application. So I do really like that, but I still do use the P. Louise very often. So now my eyes are fully primed and that's all blended in. I'm going to show you the palette. So this is the Westeros Map palette, and this is what it looks like. It's really aesthetically pleasing. I really like the layout of it. I love the way that they've done it. And then it opens kind of like out on itself, so you've got 2 different sides. This is more like kind of like blues and kind of cooler tones, and then this side's more warmer tones. I do really like it. One thing that I did notice about this palette, so this one's a little bit more pricey because obviously a bigger palette. You get 24 shades in each side of the palette. One thing that I did notice is that only 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the shades have names, and the rest of them are all unnamed. So I thought that was a little bit strange, but it's all like the bright colours that have got names. So you can see here this bright pink's got a name, that is Sunspear. Then you've got this dark pink's got a name, this purple here, Dragonstone, King's Landing. Like all these bright kind of colours all have names on them and the rest don't. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I don't think I've seen any Revolution palettes do that before unless I've missed them. So yeah, I really like that. Love the layout, love the colours. The pigmentation of the shimmers looks so pretty. I could just swatch it on the back of my hand. Like, they look really good. They look really pigmented, so I'm really excited to try them. So I'm going to get started now, and I want to stick some of this on my eyes. So I'm going to go in first with this brush here. This is just a small fluffy brush. It's the Essential Crease Brush 310 by Real Techniques. I do absolutely love this. And then to start off with, I just want to kind of go in with like a warm, but not too much of a colour, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go in with this one here, which is this. It's kind of like a really light burgundy. This is really kind of like musky purple colour. And the only thing that the palette's missing, I know I say this all the time when they don't have them, only thing the palette's missing is a mirror. I understand why they've not put one in, because packaging is really thin, so it would be quite hard to stick one in there. Then they'd have to have thicker packaging, and I know it'll cost more to produce and to make and things like that. But I feel like it's like perfect place there, and then one on the other side to have a mirror, so you can look into it while you do your makeup. But obviously not all palettes are going to have a mirror. It's just my personal preference to have one. So I'm just going to start with this. I'm just going to run this through my crease and see what it looks like. Ooh, that is so pretty. Wow, that's a lot more pigmented than I expected it to be. I'm just going to start to blend it out a little bit. Okay, that is really pretty. Yeah, I definitely want to go for like a warm kind of autumnal vibe now. Like, I really like that. Just going to blend this out a little bit more. I'm just tapping into that shade next to it, which is like a very similar shade, but a little bit more of a creamy kind of colour, just to help to blend this out and just make it a little bit smoother there. I'm just going to go in with my other eye and start to catch up where we're at, so we can do both eyes at the same time. I will use a little less product when applying it on this eye though, because I feel like I definitely applied too much and then had to blend it out a bit more. But you do live and learn with these things. I just didn't realise how pigmented it really was going to be. Like their Forever Flawless palettes are always like ridiculously pigmented, like they're so good. But some of the other ones like aren't as pigmented, so I didn't know what this would be like. This is really, really good. Okay, I like that. I'm just going to add a little bit more to make it match the other eye. I was actually going to review the blue palette, the kind of like icy themed palette today from the Game of Thrones collection, but then I did my base makeup and I'm just kind of feeling like an autumnal vibe. Like it's raining, it's quite cold and windy, it's just kind of getting into that season now, feeling very Halloween spirits, things like that. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do more of an autumnal one. And then when I did my base makeup and I did my lip, and I was like, yeah, I'm just feeling the autumn spirits. So I'm quite excited to see what I'll come up with. I used to always plan out my makeup looks, like step by step, exactly what I wanted to do with them. But then the ones that you don't plan always seem to be the ones that work out better and the ones that just look so good. So I thought, you know what, we're not going to plan it out. We're just going to have like a rough idea of what we want and then just take it from there. So this is what it's looking like now, and I actually really, really like this colour. Kind of want to go in with a bit of a brown shade. There's a few different browns in the palette. I quite like these. They're quite like rich browns. This one here, this one's more like a bit more of a pastel brown, got a warmer tone in it. This one's very, very deep, but the one that I think I'm going to go in with is this one here. It's got like a touch of burgundy in it, so I feel like that'll go really well. This one, I'm only going to grab a tiny amount of product though, because if this is as pigmented as the other one, like I only want a very, very tiny amount of this, because otherwise it'll just go absolutely everywhere and be uncontrollable. So I've got a tiny bit there, and I'm just going to start to apply this to the outer corner of my eye. Okay, that is nice. I like that. I'm going to get a tiny bit more to put on my actual lid. That goes really, really well with that purple we've put on. I really like that colour. That's really, really nice. That's such a unique kind of colour. I can't really put my finger on it. It's just like a burgundy mixed with like a warm brown. I really like it though. So I'm just applying some on there and then blending it out a bit more. Okay, I'm going to put some on the other eye as well. Again, same brush, and just really gently tapping this in and then blending it out. Well, I might have applied a little bit too much there, but it's fine, we can just blend. Just really gently, small circles. So I want to fill in my inner corners a little bit more, just get a little bit more colour in there. So we're going with this shade up here, because it looks like a really nice kind of like peachy, kind of pinky colour, but not too intense. So I'm going to go in with that, and I'm just going to start to kind of like tickle this through my inner corner, just make it a little bit more colourful, because I want to do a cut crease with this, but I need to have like a nice strong eye base before we then cut my crease. I thought we'll start with a pink in the inner corner. That's really nice. It goes really well with the shades as well. Okay, that's blending quite well into that purple. I'm going to go back with the original purple we had. And by the way, now I'm using a different brush. This is the P. Louise 234 brush. It's really nice. It's quite small, so it's good for blending and just being quite precise with where you want to apply things. So I'm just using that original colour and just making sure I've got a nice, strong... I'm really sorry if you can hear the alarms. I live literally so close to a hospital, so all the time all you can hear is just ambulances up and down, so I do apologise for that. Yeah, I'm just making sure I've got a nice blend between the colours here, and then you can see these colours quite strong before I apply my cut crease. Okay, Then I'm going to blend this out just a little bit more on the edges to make it a little bit softer, a little bit smoother. So I'm going to go in with, I'll use this brush today. This is the Morphe R39 brush. And I'm tapping in to the white shade in the palette. And then the other transition shade we're using, that kind of like creamy shade. And I'm really lightly buffing this just underneath my eyebrow. Like really lightly. Buffing it onto my eyebrow, and then around the side of where the colour ends there, kind of winging it out a little bit. And I'm going to do it up here as well, and then bringing it down. Just so it can be a bit smoother with the transition of the colours, but then not overdoing it that we lose half the colour we've just applied. Again, same thing on this eye. Going back with that P. Louise 234 brush, and I'm going to go in with a deeper shade for my outer corner again. So we're going to go in, I think I'm going to use this shade here, which looks very scary and a little bit ambitious, but I'm going to do it anyway. Oh wow, that's very pigmented. I'm not sure if this is going to be a mistake or not, but I'm going to go for it anyway and try as many colours as we can out. And I'm literally just going to start by patting this. Oh, that's not as bad as it looks. It just looks really dark on my brush. And then just kind of applying this into my outer corner there. And then blending it into my crease. Just to make it even deeper. I just kind of have as many different shades as we can use in this palette. I actually really like that. It's a really nice shade. It is quite intense though, so I do need to blend it out properly after. I'm going to go in on this eye. I'm just blending it and applying it up to where we apply that darker purple. This is why I need palette like shade names, because all the shades we use, none of them have names. And I can't say which shade I'm using without holding up the palette every single time. So that's why having shade names is easier for like YouTube videos and things like that. And I can actually tell you what shades I'm using each time. So this is now how it's looking, and if I'm honest, it's a little bit more smoky than I originally planned, but that is fine. I really like the look so far. So now I'm going to go in and do a cut crease. I'm going to carve it out first where I want it to be. No idea where my cut carver is by P. Louise, so we're just going to use Vaseline today instead. It's quite a good substitute, it's just not as good as the real thing. So I've just applied some of that onto a flat brush. This is the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill JH14. I actually use this all the time. It is really good. And then I'm just going to start to gently carve out where I'm going to want this cut crease to be. So I'm just going to start off by just following the brush through my actual crease on both sides. Something that I used to really struggle with is making my cut crease even. So I do quite like to follow it through on both sides first, kind of see how it's looking, and then start to add little bits on each. So like bring it up a little bit higher on this side, and then bring it up for the outer corner, like that there. And then I'll start to do that on this side, I'll take a little bit more off there, try and match it up, and then do this until I'm basically happy with it and how it looks. I do like to try bring out the outer corner of the cut crease a little bit higher than the rest. Like, Vaseline is good, but it just does not do the trick like P. Louise. It really doesn't. It is good, it helps, it's just nowhere near as smooth. It just doesn't get rid of the product anywhere near as well as it does. Like, if you can't afford the P. Louise base, which is actually £15 on her website, but if you go onto her TikTok shop, there's always some sort of deal on for it. I got mine for £7.50, which is half price, which is really good. But yeah, if you can't afford that or you can't get your hands on that, then I would say to use Vaseline instead. It's just not as good. It just doesn't do the job as well as the P. Louise cut carver does. But this is how it's looking, so I've kind of carved that out the best that I can. I'm now going to take a cotton bud and just remove that product that we've applied, make sure all the excess is gone before I go in with my actual cut crease. So I've got my cotton buds. I just had to go get some from my desk because I've run out of them from my little makeup tray. So I'm just going to start to follow this through where we started to cut that crease there. So it does an okay job, it's just, it doesn't work as smoothly. Like, it still gets rid of the product and it still, you know, gets the job done. It's just not as smooth as the other one is. So again, following this through, just applying a little bit more there and just rubbing that through there to make sure it's even on the other side. And then there as well. And I'm just going to roll this across to make sure I've got all the excess product. There. I'm pretty sure that will be good. And now I'm going to go in and we're actually going to use something to cut the crease with. So I'm actually going to use the KVD. I just applied a little bit there. The KVD concealer, because this is actually really, really good when it comes to doing your cut crease. Like, I know that's not what it's meant for, but I really like it. It helps with whatever you're going to apply on top of it. It's a really, really good base. It just applies really smoothly. It's really good. I really like it. I know I shouldn't use it for this, but I really like it, so we're going to anyway. So I'm going to slowly start to line the edges. This helps to just make it a lot more smoother and look a lot neater. So that's how it's looking. And I'm going to just pat it in to fill in the gap we've got. Like that, and then just literally continue to fill this in. And then I'm just going to pat out the edges there, so it helps to just blend that in when it comes to doing that bit later. And exactly the same thing on this side. Need a little bit more product for that. I'm just going to line this. When I'm on live streams, this is the palette I always say. I cannot breathe while I do this. I can't talk, never mind breathe. Okay. And then fill in that in. So this is how it is looking. It's quite even. I just feel like I need a little bit more on this eye and just bring this up a little bit higher to even it out. But do you know what I mean? Just if it's not right, I'll have a little play. Add a little bit more. Just overline it a bit there. And that's looking better. That definitely looks better than it did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my lower lash line while I wait for this to dry a little bit. So I'm going to go back into the palette and I'm going to go with that original shade that we chose. So it's like that light, it's kind of like a pastel burgundy, if that makes sense. I'm going to line my under eye literally just with that. And I'm going to go in with that purple mixed with the deep purple, so just tapping into both of those to then do the outer corner of my lower lash line. And then same thing on this eye, tapping into both of those and then just really gently there. This is how it's looking and I really like it. It's a lot brighter and just a lot, makes it pop a little bit more having that cut crease applied there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my outer corner again and I'm going to go in with that original brush that we use, the Essential Crease brush. I'm tapping into that dark purple and I'm just really gently patting that over the edge there. Really gently patting it over and then kind of like dragging it backwards. It's like that brownie purple, this one. And that's how it's looking, just to help like blend it in a little bit better. And then just doing something on this eye, kind of like patting it in and dragging it back. And then what I want to do is I want to apply some shimmers, because the shimmers in this palette are absolutely unreal. Like, they look so beautiful. So I just blended it in a little bit better there. Now it's time for the shimmers. So as I've already shown you the palette, there are so many, and I mean so many beautiful shimmers in here. Really hard to kind of know where to start. I kind of want to do my inner corner with like a bright white shimmer, so I'm kind of thinking one of these two, because these look, this one's got more of like a pinky tone, but they're really pretty, both of them. But then I kind of want to do like a different, like a darker kind of shimmer. I'm thinking maybe this one. This is like a purpley, kind of like deep purple shimmer. I'll apply this over, yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm going to apply this one here, which is between these two beautiful bright shades, so that one there. And I'm going to apply this on the outer corner of my eye, where those shades have like blended together. Oh, that is very deep, but very shimmery. Very, very deep and very shimmery, but we like it. And then same thing on this one, not applying too much, just a nice little amount. So I'm going to go with this one here, because this looks really nice, really quite bright, and that's this one. Next is kind of like tealy shade, and then I'm just applying that in the inner corner and then blending it into the other shimmer we've applied. Oh, it's definitely the right colour we chose. I really like that. That's really pretty. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on this eye and tapping that glitter in and just trying to get a nice blend between the two glitters there. That's really nice. Do you know what? I think that would be a beautiful inner corner shimmer as well. Let's try it. To be honest, that's actually not as good as I thought it was going to be. It's alright, but inner corner shimmer, I'm actually kind of disappointed. I thought it was going to be a little bit better than that for that. But you can't win them all. Just going to keep tapping this over. But they are really pretty, but I think this one's not as pigmented as the other ones are. This shimmer, like, it's really nice. It looks really pigmented on the finger, but when you actually apply it, it's not as pigmented as the other ones. So this is now the finished look. This is what it looks like. I love the depth of the dark shades in the outer corner. Quite like how it goes from dark to light. I really like that. I love how easily blendable the colours were. I really, really love that. I love the colour story. I'm obsessed with the palette. I do think it was really nice. Some of the shades could have been a little bit more pigmented, and I wish that it had a mirror. But I think those are the only negative things that I could really point out about the palette. I hope you've really enjoyed watching this video. If you have, do not forget to smash that thumbs up button for me and leave me a lovely little comment in the comment section to read later on, as well as subscribing to my channel for more content just like this. But that is it for me for today, and I really hope to see you all in my next video. Bye!